If you're looking to improve your 2011 through 2014 3.5-liter EcoBoost F-150's performance through some easy bolt-on mods, this CVF cold side aluminum intercooler piping is one you'll want to check out. Now, this cold side pipe is one of the pieces of the puzzle to a higher performance turbo application, perfect for the F-150 owner who's looking for some bolt-on mods to bump up those horsepower and torque numbers, especially if you're pairing it with other bolt-on performance mods. Now, this is a solid replacement as well for the factory plastic piping that tends to break or pop off if you're pushing higher boost. So if you're currently having troubles or have a broken factory component and you're looking for a high quality and higher performance replacement, this will do well with all stock intercoolers or aftermarket intercoolers with stock fitment. Now, there is a lot of potential with the EcoBoost motor thanks to the FI or forced induction setup, and this cold side pipe is a great way to improve the turbo ecosystem by pushing more air into the manifold with smoother airflow. Now, that directly affects your throttle response and low end power, resulting in better performance, especially when paired with other bolt-ons, as I mentioned, like an intercooler. Now, the performance is a result of that larger piping here, the reduction in restriction, creating a more direct flow of air and a reduction in the temperature because of the materials in the design, which we'll get into in just a second. Now, this also doesn't require a tune to install, but as for any performance mod, it will reach its full potential when tuned with the truck, but I like that this does give you some flexibility to run it with or without a tune. As you can see on the table, this piping is a two-piece design for proper fitment and performance and is made of a full aluminum construction, not only durable, but again, offering better heat management than something like a stainless steel material would. The piping also has a wrinkle black powder coat to help protect the aluminum from any corrosion over time and blends into the engine bay well if you are concerned about the appearance. Now, the piping itself is 3.5 to 3 inches, which is going to be a little bit larger than the factory for increased air capacity, and the mandrel bends, as I mentioned, create a smooth, streamlined flow of air right into the manifold. The couplers here are also made of a silicone material and offer really good durability against high pressure buildup and heat inside the engine bay, and this also comes with all of these stainless steel clamps in order to piece this together. This is about $250, and in the world of mods, that's not a bad price for the improvement that you'll get here. Now, compared to others, this is on the affordable side of the spectrum for a cold side pipe and doesn't lack quality when doing it, which is something I really like about this set. Now, it has a larger construction, minimal bends for minimal restriction, and an aluminum construction compared to stainless if you're really looking to hone in on the materials when it comes to your build. Now, regardless, if you want a quality mod for your intercooler system and your turbo's ecosystem, and one that's not going to completely break the bank while doing it, this will be a great choice for you. Install here is a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. It can be tricky to get the factory piping out and get this into place, but it should be a bit easier with the two-piece construction. And I would say with the right tools and setup, it should take about an hour or so to complete this install. However, at this point, I'm going to pass you over to one of our installers who are going to show you how to get it done step by step so you can complete this at home, or if you're just curious about the install. So that is going to wrap it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
First install, you need a ratchet, a 10 and T20 socket, flathead screwdriver, pick, and 2.5mm Allen wrench. All right, today we're going to be installing an intercooler pipe on our F-150, so let's get started. So we're going to start off under our hood. We're going to disconnect our sensors, our line, and then we'll just loosen our hose clamp and disconnect from our throttle body. So we're going to start, we're going to grab a pick, and we're going to get our line down here disconnected. So we're going to start by disconnecting our line right here. We just need to release our plastic tab. Now there's 2 tabs on the bottom that you're going to squeeze together. If you need to, get a pick underneath the front edge here, just so you can lift that up and release that all the way. Once you have that released, just pull that straight off. We're also going to disconnect our connector right here. Just push this push tab down, pull that off. We'll need to swap that sensor over, but we can do that when we get the whole tube out. So right here at our throttle body, you're going to see a hose clamp. You can either grab a 8mm socket, or I'm just have a flathead screwdriver. Just going to loosen that up. We're going to see if this pops off our throttle body here. It's nice and loose. If you need to, you can grab your pick and just kind of break the seal from around the hose. But now that we have that loose, we can go underneath and disconnect at our intercooler. So we're gonna follow our pipe down to where it connects at the intercooler here. You'll see this silver spring clip going around. Now it does release on this side. I'll show you once we get it off. But you're gonna get a pick in there and just work it around so that it releases the locking points. And once you get that released, try to pop that off the intercooler. I'm just gonna remove this whole clip entirely, just because it keeps catching on that one edge. We should be able to just wiggle this off. Now that we have that release, we're just gonna feed the pipe out, down through the bottom here. Just like so. And then you'll see that ring going around the edge there. That's where that locking ring secures in. So the only thing we need to do now is swap over our sensor. So we're gonna grab a ratchet with a T20 socket, take our 2 screws out here. Pop our sensor out. We can go ahead and swap that over to our new pipe. We're gonna get our sensor, install it in our new pipe. I actually just went and got a little bit of oil and just lubricated the O-ring there so it slides in nicely. Even though it is still a little bit of a tight fit, so just wiggle that in. Line up your holes. We have our supplied Allen bolts. Let's start that by hand. And grab a 2.5mm Allen wrench. Go ahead and tighten this down. Now that our sensor's in, we'll just assemble our pipes together a little bit so we can get this installed. So we're gonna start assembling our couplers on. We have our smallest coupler here. It's gonna go on the top against the throttle body. We're gonna grab one of our clamps. We have 2 smaller ones, and then we have larger ones for the rest. So we're gonna put our one over, just feed that up over our tube. It is a little tight, so you just gotta work it on a little bit. You can just let that sit there for right now. For our next, we're gonna connect our elbow to our main tube. So we have our larger of our 2 couplers here. Just gonna grab 2 of our larger clamps. I'll slide one end over first here. If you want, you can just snug these up a little bit just so they are not falling all around. So I'm gonna grab a ratchet and a 10mm socket. You don't want to tighten it too much because you don't want it, you want to be able to move this around a little bit while we're installing. As you can see, there is a ton of slack in these clamps. Grab another large one, slide that over, and then just make sure that you match up your piping so that it's correct angle. You just want the sharper turn towards the end here. Slide that in. Go ahead and just snug this one up too. Just want to make sure that these clamps move, just so they don't interfere when installing anything. And we just have our last coupler to go on the bottom here. Do the same thing. And then we'll get our last 2 clamps on when we get this installed in the truck. So we're gonna feed our pipe up through the same way we took the old one out. It's just a little thicker, so you just gotta be a little bit more careful not to scratch it on all this. All right, just keep working that up in there. And we're gonna get this on our intercooler. So you just wanna make sure you grab your clamp. Just gonna rest that over. All right, so we're just gonna set this over our intercooler here. Let's see, our clamp is down here, and we're gonna go and get it on our throttle body, and then we can adjust all the piping and tighten everything down. Now we're gonna get our top coupler over our throttle body. You see I already threw our clamp over. Now this is just gonna take a little bit to get the right angle. You see, kind of twist the pipes around the couplers, but just work your way on there. All right, just work this on. All right, so we got that on there. We can go ahead and get these clamps tight up here. Also get our hose and our sensor plugged back in. So we'll grab our ratchet, 10mm deep socket. We'll tighten this first clamp down. So we're gonna get our second clamp here. You can actually push your intake tube up just a little bit, get a little bit more clearance. Tighten that down. You can plug our sensor back in now. Get to hear that click. And then our hose. Get that over. And then secure down the locking tab. We're gonna come down to the bottom at our intercooler. Just wanna make sure that these are lined up correctly, see the right angle and everything. Once you have that, we're just gonna tighten these two down. Same thing, ratchet, 10mm socket. And once those are nice and tight, we can go ahead and do the middle section. Come to our middle section here, just make sure that your clamps aren't angled back. You just wanna make sure they stay away from everything. They're not angled forward towards the frame. Same thing, ratchet, 10mm socket, tighten these two down. And that wraps up our install of our CVF cold side aluminum intercooler piping for our 2011 to 2014 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150. And remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.